Okay, welcome back to the channel. So if you're new to the channel, I basically deal with not really old motorcycles, but generally shovel heads and newer stuff. We have twin cams and Evos. I finished the 76 FLH a couple weeks ago. If you watch some of my short videos, I picked up an 81 FXS Lowrider. Today we're going to go over that bike, what we're going to do to it. This is not going to really be a restoration of this bike. Originally I thought, restoring it back to its lowrider state, but after checking out a bunch of different things and prices, it's just not going to be feasible to do that. It's going to cost more to turn this back into a lowrider than it is if I just went out and bought a lowrider already done up. So not really worth it for me to do that, but we are going to do some other things to this bike. And we're going to go over some of those things now. And I'll show you some of the things we're going to change, some stuff we're going to keep. And we'll just move on from there. Okay, so if you haven't watched any of the other videos, this is it. This is the 81 Lowrider. And before anybody comments, I know this does not look like a lowrider. The previous owner put soft tail tank and fenders on it. I guess he wanted that kind of look. When I originally bought this bike, I was thinking, yeah, this really needs to go back to a lowrider. But as I look at it more and I've had it more and I've ridden it, I really like the way this bike looks with the soft tail stuff on it. So I'm going to keep actually this metal. It's going to stay in its current form for the most part. But we're going to go over some stuff on this. Some things I'm going to change, some things we're going to keep. Most of the parts of this bike I'm going to keep. There are going to be some changes. We're going to get rid of some things and things like that. So we'll start at the rear end. We'll go all the way around the bike, and we'll just take a look at it. So the biggest thing with this bike, you can see it's got a FL fender. Now, as near as I can tell, the fenders and the tank came off a 98 FL STC. We tried to figure out what the color of this was, and originally it came up as Patriotic Red Pearl, but there's tags under each side of the tank that say this is a 98 and it's laser red. So I don't know if one point that color, they changed it to laser red, but I have seen 96s and 97 with this logo on the tank with these pinstripes that they did call Patriotic Red Pearl. So I'm going to have to look in the PPG book of colors to see if we can match this, because the front fender, obviously, I don't know if it's off a different bike, but it's got a different shade of red. Either that or the painter didn't match this correctly. But anyway, this is going to be repainted because you see there's a dent here, there's a dent there, and it's missing some paint down here. So I want to get this front fender painted like the tank with the laser red with the, it's like orange and gold pinstriping around. I really do like this logo. The tank is in perfect shape. There's nothing wrong with the tank. So when they do paint the front, I'm going to see if they can mix me up a little bit of touch-up paint, because I'm not going to paint the rear fender just because of things like this and this. There is a seat that I have that goes on back here, so we're going to have to hook up some of the rivets in the fender to tie the seat in. Same thing with this. We got to do something with this because it's scratching all the paint up. So, all right, so let's start the rear wheel. I am going to keep this caliper. I've already rebuilt this caliper. The brakes were locking up when I rode it. It actually locked it up to the point where I could ride it. When I got back, I couldn't touch the rotor or the caliper. So we're going to replace the rotor. I've already cleaned all the gunk out of this. If you saw that 1-minute video, this line was completely filled with junk. Going to replace this rubber line because I hate these rubber lines. You can't just take it off one end. You've either got to take the caliper off and unscrew it, or you got to take it on that end, and it's a pain. We're going to get a nice braided line for this. This chrome swing arm was a little bit of concern for me because I wasn't sure if that was an FX swing arm or an FL, but it turns out that this tire, which is a 16, is a little bit wider than the FX. I'll put the specs up on the screen of what these tires are supposed to be. Now, this is an original rim. Let me see if I can find the date on here, because it does say, okay, so if you see this date on here, that's 9/80, so that's September of 80. Now, this rim up here is not an FX rim, because this is a 16-inch wheel up front. So this should be, a 19-inch rim. And the date on this, I think this was December. Let me look somewhere. I found it around here somewhere. There is. That one is December of 80. So I believe this is a rear wheel rim, possibly, for an FL. I don't know, but I'm going to keep this whole front end because an FX front end is 35 millimeter. This is 41 millimeter. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to make the front end look like this Deluxe. I really do like the look of this Deluxe front end with the high lights on it, with these, because this are going to have to be replaced on it. I do like the headlight on this. So I'm going to get to the parts manual for the Deluxe, and we're going to transform this front end into looking like, let me shut this light off, into the Deluxe front end. I don't like these turn signals. You can't really see them. But, you know, we're going to need a new tire up front because these tires are 24 years old. So let's go back here. I don't want to keep jumping around like that. So the swing arm, you can use an FL swing arm from 73 to 84 to fit a 16-inch tire. Now, if FX does have a 16-inch tire on the back, it's not as wide as this. So the swing arm for an FX is a little bit narrower, but I'm pretty sure this is probably an FL swing arm for one of those years. We're going to get new shocks because it's got some rust on it that I know is not going to come off. I'm going to get the battery tray stripped and powder coated. I don't know that I'm going to do anything with the transmission. This thing shifted fine. I didn't have a bit of problem shifting it. It didn't have any gear oil in it when I got it. As soon as I filled it up with, I think it was 75/90, and I took it out, it shifted fine. Starter works fine, although the Bendix, I think, is kind of messed up because it doesn't want to hit the ring gear all the time. So we'll have to look at that when I take that apart. I got to think that this is an original exhaust for an FX. You can get these. Again, I am going to replace this exhaust because it's got some, you know, scrapes down here. I think this bike at one point must have been dropped because if you look at this, this is all scraped up. The handle on this is scraped. This is scraped. There's no crash bars on here, so, and I'm going to leave it like this. I want a bike that's light, that I can just jump on it to go to the post office, run down to the store. We can go out to get coffee or something without having to lug around heavy bikes that have saddlebags and all this other junk. So I want to keep this bike as light as I can. So there's going to be no crash bars, no saddlebags, none of that stuff. I don't know if this is a Kiriakin, like the hypercharger cleaner. It kind of the same style, but I don't know if Kiriakin makes this. This does have an S&S Shorty E on it. What does it say? Super E Shorty. So I'm going to try to find the S&S air cleaner for this. We are taking the motor out. We'll have to take the cylinders out because I don't know what's going on with the cylinders. The motor is runs perfect. Problem is the cylinders have some rust on the outside, and the only way to get that done is to pull the cylinders off. I don't know if I'm going to need a lower end done this time. I am going to keep the chrome rockers. I've kind of looked as much as I can see these, and I don't see any flaking on them or anything like that. I actually probably won't even take the rockers apart up here. I'll probably just leave them all intact and flush out whatever junk is in there. These braided oil covering lines, those are going. I don't like those at all. We're going to just go back to the regular rubber oil lines. I will keep these line separators, though. I kind of like the idea of those. What else? The seat, we got to find some kind of fastener for this seat because this is actually not made for an FX frame. What are we doing over here? So I do like the fact that they put floorboards on this. I think Drag Specialties actually make, or V-Twin makes these to fit an FX frame. So I kind of like floorboards. I'm a floorboard person. I don't like pegs. I just don't. I think it's unnatural to put your foot down a peg. I don't like it. We have to get a brake pad for up here. The rear caliper I'll probably just rebuild. I don't think I'll replace it. I've already kind of flushed everything out of it. So hopefully we're not going to need the lifters. This does have a different type of electronic ignition. Now, an FX came with electronic ignition. If you look in the wiring diagram, there's supposed to be like some control module. I still haven't figured out, this is where the neutral safety switch is. I still haven't figured out where that wire goes because there's no neutral light. On an FX, it has the same top like this. Same headlight, same top. The same front end as an FX as a Sportster. But the neutral light and the high beam light, I believe, on each side of that cap there. But this does not have either one of those. It has an oil light, which is right here. So I'm going to have to incorporate some kind of neutral safety switch somewhere, maybe in here. I know it doesn't have any turn signal indicators. The only way you know the turn signals are on, you can see the reflection in here. But when I put those other turn signals on, they're going to be below this, so you're not going to see that. So I'm going to have to get some kind of turn signal indicators, maybe again some small LED lights up here on each side to let me know that the turn signals are on. It's almost exactly the same wiring as an FLH, except that it has the modern connectors. It doesn't go to a terminal block like it is on the other side. There's no terminal block under here. There is a module up here from Badland Motorcycles, which allows you to press the turn signal buttons and they'll still flash. You take your finger off it and they go off after about, I think, 5 seconds. So I am going to probably get an upgraded version of that, and you'll see all that when I take the front end apart. Okay, like I said, we're going to get a new updated oil cooler. I'll probably get the oil cooler in black and not chrome. We're going to keep the performance machine, both front calipers. I already rebuilt this one. I didn't rebuild the one on the other side. And we're going to get new rotors for the front. I'm going to keep these because these things are expensive. They run anywhere from $500 to $700 a piece for those. So I'm going to keep that. I don't know that I'll have to upgrade these lines. The lines look like they work fine. Throttle, brake line, everything. They look good. Same thing with the clutch. It looks like it's okay. The one thing that I don't get, and I know this is not factory, is when did AMF start using Phillips screws in their bills? So I don't know what that's for. Now, the issue with this is the speedometer is not driven off the transmission. This is actually the speedometer wire. Now, if they didn't change the gearing in here to meet that, there should be an FX has 2-to-1 ratio, meaning the cable turns twice for every mile. Since this has a smaller tire, this should have a 3-to-1 gear ratio in here, which means the cable has to turn 3 revolutions for every mile because it's a smaller tire. If you don't do that, you're going to get an incorrect speedometer. It'll actually think you're going faster than you actually are. Now, some people probably don't care about that. I want it to work the way it should. Of course, we're going to get rid of this Heritage Soft Hill moniker. We don't need that. Getting all new lights up front. We're going to get rid of this because this is kind of cheap. There, I might go to the polished aluminum cowbells or whatever you want to call those things. We need a new front light because that's got some plastic chrome missing. Let me see on this side. We got to take this off because the chrome is all gone. I'm going to get that powder coated. Had it stripped and powder coated. They did convert this from a midshift, which should come out here, to a heel toe shifter. So I think that's kind of a neat little mechanism that's going on there. So I want to get a good look at that when I pull the primary out to make sure that it goes back the way it should. I do like these yellow Hassel wires. We're going to keep those. Coil's working fine. Solenoid's working fine. Like I said, it's not engaging the ring gear the way it should be. It skips every while like it's missing. I thought maybe there was a tooth missing on it. It's not. So we're going to have to look at the starter in that. What else? We're going to probably keep the oil tank. I don't see the point in changing it just because it's chrome. Let me see. Let's move down this way. I did find out this is an O-ring chain, so we're going to keep that. We obviously need a chain guard, so we're going to be getting a chrome chain guard. The tail lights. Yeah, I don't like these turn signals on the rear. Now these do, I think this is the same fender as the Deluxe actually. It does have this cutout kind of right here. So if you look at this, it's the same cutout. We're going to get these type of turn signals for the back. Let me see what else we got going on over here. Whoops, let me go on this side. So the hand controls are fine. The only problem is when this bike went down, if you look at it, let me show you from the back. You can see that this side here is bent up. Probably can't see it, but there's a crease right here because all the electrics run through the handlebars, which I'm going to continue. I don't know if this can be bent back. If there's a way to do that. We'll have to get a new set of handlebars, and we'll have to drill some holes because I do want the controls to go through here. I'm going to keep these chrome controls. They seem to work fine. Master cylinder works fine. I would like to find another mirror like this. I don't know if you can see that. It's got kind of like scrolling around the side. This is just a plain mirror. I'm going to see if I can find that mirror for it. We got to work on the gauges. Speedometer works, tach works, but the trip meter shows tenths, but the miles don't move. This part moves, but this doesn't move, and you can't turn this at all. So we're going to have to work on that, see what's wrong with that. Gas caps, these are going. I hate these gas caps. This just screws in like a regular cap, but then these things unscrew. There's supposed to be some kind of tool you get with these, and I don't want to carry a tool around with me to open the gas cap. But then this just like unscrews from the tank. So we're just going to get regular gas caps back on there. We're going to keep the risers. We're going to do the head bearings. We're going to do the wheel bearings. We're going to do the swing arm bearing. So we got a lot of work to do on this bike. But again, just take a look at this from beyond. I don't know, leave me your comments below. What do you think of the look of this bike? Do you like the soft tail look with the shovel motor, with the chrome rockers? I kind of like it. It kind of grows in you once you look at it. So okay, so that's going to do it for this video. I'm not sure when I'm going to start this customization of this bike. My schedule is not going to be like it was with the FLH, where I did a video every week. I don't know that I can keep maintaining that kind of schedule. Not that I don't want to, it's just that, you know, I'm retired. I don't want to turn this into a job where I'm doing a video every week. So I might do a video every other week. I might do 2 videos in a week and then nothing for 3 weeks. I don't know. So your best bet is to probably maybe subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, just check back every week to see if I have a new video out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.